Hello, YouTube. This is Reading Reddit, and today we have three stories for you. And kicking us off, we have a golden child, a golden brother. This episode is about brothers, so we're going to take a look at our first story. Am I the asshole for refusing to take in my disabled brother? Jesus, I don't know where to begin. Recently started listening to all these AITA videos while working out and only posted once before. But I think this situation is crazier than the last. So I have an estranged, tense relationship with my mom and a lot of her side of the family. When I was 21, I became a single father to my daughter Cece. I was working overnights in a warehouse, had to move back in with my mom and younger brother. I'll just call him Greg going forward, as Cece's egg donor just decided she'd rather live the socialite life than be a mother. My mom was helpful with Cece when it was convenient for her. So if she had a rough day at work, she was more concerned with having a drink and unwinding than helping with her granddaughter. Greg, though, I could write a book about how incompetent and useless he was. One day that is burned into my memory. Cece was only about 8 months at the time. On my way home from work one evening, I got stuck in traffic on the way back. Tired of calling home, I tried calling home to let them know what was going on, and Cece likely needed to be fed. I get home 2 hours later after clocking out, and I hear Cece crying in our room, and Greg is sitting on the couch. He says something like that almost sets me off, like, about damn time. She's been crying. Explained that there was an accident blocking traffic I got caught in, and asked him why she's crying. Oh no, is all I get in response. Ask him how long asking ask him for how long as I'm heading into my room. According to him, she had been crying for almost an hour, soiled, diaper, and hungry. Greg couldn't even be bothered to check on her. After a couple of years of these two acting like this, especially Greg, I'm on the phone with my dad and stepmom. He offered me help in raising her, getting my life on track. Cliff notes of what happens next. Cece's egg donor gets parental rights terminated, essentially leaving her without a legal mother. Mom starts giving me about running away from responsibilities. Greg is talking about what he's going to do to my room once we're gone. I'm packing everything up and making an 1,100-mile road trip several states away with a toddler with my phone turned off because my mom was blowing it up, demanding I turn around and bring her only grandchild back to her. Since then, did meet a one woman that since then did meet a woman that is phenomenal with Cece. Got married. She adopted Cece officially a couple of years ago after Mother's Day. We also have an 8-year-old son. Oh, a lot of time has passed here. We have made trips back to my hometown several times over the years, usually for holidays or stopping by on our way to Orlando. Hometown is in Florida, by the way. Over the years, Greg has not shown the slightest interest in growing up or not being absolutely disgusting. I'm pretty sure there are stories about him on the Neckbeard subreddit. So, details about Greg. He's 36 years old now, still lives at home with mom. He's been on disability for a while, not entirely sure how long, for seizures. He had them as a teenager, then stopped for a while, came back as an adult, and his fast food job couldn't keep him around. Couldn't have someone having a seizure around hot oil and sharp knives. So he and my mom went through the process of getting him on some sort of disability. So he does nothing but sleep and play video games all day. He thinks he's the cool uncle for some reason. Legit has these words on his Facebook. We never stay with them, and when we're in town, and Cece has been very vocal over the last 6 years that he makes her very uncomfortable. When she was 12, he offered to let her partake in smoke and alcoholic beverages with him. She's smart enough to say no, since to him, kids, you are gonna do it anyway. Might as well do it with an adult you trust, or talk about his relationship. Last one was, no lie, 17 years ago. In uncomfortable detail. With his child niece. He even has to be reminded to fricking bathe. Both Cece and my son, 8 years old, have called him out for smelling like straight up BO and cat pee, which, according to my mom, is rude and uncalled for. And I need to make this part clear. He has never been diagnosed as autistic, developmentally challenged, or neurodivergent in any way. He's just been raised to be entitled and lazy. But that's everything up to this. We recently got back from an Orlando trip, passed through my hometown without stopping, got the guilt-laden phone call from my mom about how they missed us, etc., whatever, and she drops this thing. She updated her will to leave everything split between me and Greg, and she wants me to take him in or take care of him if anything happens to her. I couldn't help but laugh and tell her, exact words, not a snowflake's chance in hell is he ever living with us. She knows he makes Cece uncomfortable, but her logic is since she's going off to college soon and will be out and on her own soon, that means we'll have space for him and Cece won't have to worry about him. She goes on to explain that he can't take care of himself because he has seizures. He can't cook for himself. He can't clean up after himself. He can't remember to bathe unless he's reminded. When she started going on how Cece shouldn't feel uncomfortable around him because he openly talked about his life to his niece when she was 12 years old because he doesn't know better. Last thing I said to her was, you are describing someone that needs assisted living, not a room in a house with people unqualified to provide us the assistance he clearly needs. And I'm not making my kids spend time around anyone that makes them feel uncomfortable, family or not. So honestly, I don't even really care if I'm the a-hole or not. The whole thing just started to piss me off. And now there is an update. Jesus did not expect us to blow up. But from what I've heard, nobody ever does, I guess. Was kind of busy over the weekend, and I'm back to work from my PTO now until August. If you're expecting a big update or dramatic standoff, this might disappoint you, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and clear things up. Mom and Greg never agreed to take care of Cece. They actually did, after Cece's bio mom took effed off, kind of vented to both of them, and they agreed to help, and dropped the ball consistently. Almost cost me custody. Why are you still in contact with them? With Greg, I'm not in contact. My mom's brother, my uncle, and his wife and their kids are the only people on my mom's side I don't have problems with. I get maybe 90% of my updates from them. My mom I talk to 3 times a year, Christmas, her birthday, and Mother's Day. Haven't seen mom in over 2 years at this point. Greg was about 3 years ago, though not voluntarily. If we spend Christmas in Florida, we usually do so at my aunt and uncle's house, which is usually every other year. His disability, and why I put it in quotations. He's been seizures free for a few years. One of my old coworkers has seizures. Longest she's gone in the 8 years I've known her without having a seizure was 2 months. She averages them every other week. She still works and busts her at more than anyone else we've worked with. She got promoted, moved to a different location for it. So he can't return to his old job, but he's still able-bodied and doesn't need someone to do everything for him. So we did ask how they feel about seeing their grandma, my mom. Cece is not a fan, considering how much she defends Greg's crappy behavior and said she prefer her mama and papa, wife's parents, more than my mom. My son doesn't mind my mom. She has toys he likes, but he describes Greg as stinky, boring, and loud. He's 8, so take that for what you will. But we've agreed it's in our family's best interest to keep both of them away, so no low contact or um, no contact entirely. Wife is fully on board with keeping Greg away, even if his attitude was different and he did legitimately need someone to provide shelter for him. My wife and I both work. Cece is headed off to college. I'm not ready for this Reddit. So the only option would be leaving him alone with our son over the summer, which is not happening, ever, at all. Otherwise, he'd be alone and vulnerable during the school year. My wife, I'll call her Diana because she's a princess bat warrior Wonder Woman, is a better person than I and found a few assisted living facilities services that accommodate epileptic adults as young as 35 in my hometown. She got on lock. If there's anything else to update, I may come back to this, but I'm hoping things stay peaceful. Hope all of you Reddit dads, stepdads, moms are doing both, are out there. Had a great Father's Day. Ooh, so Folks were disgusted by his brother, and they claimed that even if his mom leaves his responsibility on him, she can't force it. Our first comment is not the asshole, but ask for a copy of the will. If it's guardianship of the man-child, then put him in assisted living. I plan on consulting a lawyer to make sure my bases are covered, but from what my wife and I found, there's no sibling responsibility laws in Florida or Texas where we are, and they can't legally make me take him in. I'm an AL, but I'm confident in this. Oh, not a lawyer. But I'm confident in this. She can put whatever the hell she wants to in her will. That doesn't mean that you have to take him in, although depending on your location and how smart her lawyer is, that might mean you don't get whatever your inheritance would be. Not the asshole, and I'm surprised you're still in touch with either of them. I wouldn't be. An OP response, I mainly keep in touch with her for my kids' sake. Dad and stepmom passed 6 and 4 years ago. My mom got sober a few years after I left, although I keep her at a distance. I can at least see she's a decent grandmother now, current situation excluded. But as it stands, if my inheritance is dependent on taking him in, I'm more than willing to just let everything go. And now our last comment. I'm scrolling down to take a look here. Not the asshole. You had a rough start with no help from either of them, and now you have your life together and sounds like it's pretty damn good. Tell your mother not to leave you anything in her will. Put it in a trust to pay for your brother's assisted living costs. I'm sure you don't want or need the hassle of dealing with her affairs or your brother once she passes. It'll only be a shit show, and you can send your brother thoughts and prayers. I'm actually surprised you aren't lower contact. They bring nothing to the table. So that is our first story, and we're moving on into the second story. And this may be our last one. Nah, I'll do three. Why not? Drama sparks as man asks his brother to end 5-year relationship to please his new girlfriend. It's a bit of a long story. I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 21 male, have been together since we were 17. We have a healthy relationship, and I have a fantastic relationship with his family as well. I spend every Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas and any events in between with his family. His mom and I get along very well, and my boyfriend annoyingly complains about how she calls me more than him. Same with his father, who's been a second father figure to me, and always reminds me I'm more like a daughter to him than his son's girlfriend. Ooh. My boyfriend has an older brother, 24 male, who I get along with just fine, but he's more kept to himself, so I don't know him as well as the rest. His older brother recently got himself a girlfriend, and actually the first time since I've met him, he had a girlfriend. This Halloween weekend was my boyfriend's parents' anniversary, and they invited me over as usual, but also the asked the brother to bring his girlfriend over for the first time. His girlfriend is the same age as me, so I was looking forward to meeting her. That Saturday, I arrived at my boyfriend's parents' place early as me and his mother had plans to cook a large meal for everyone. The afternoon was mostly just me, my boyfriend, and his parents hanging out. The girlfriend came later in the evening with his brother. Right off the bat, she became overly comfortable with my boyfriend and his father. She said, I didn't know all the men in your family were handsome, and gave both men a rather tight and long hug. She then made her way over to his mother, ignoring me completely and saying, You're so pretty. Watch out, though. Your husband's on my radar. Immediately, his mother turned to me and whispered, I've a bad feeling about her. We stayed in the kitchen, but the kitchen looks into the living room, so we saw everything go down. The girlfriend sat on both my boyfriend's and his dad's lap when trying to talk to them, and both men seemed uncomfortable. Soon my boyfriend joined us in the kitchen and said, I don't like her. I called her over to taste the pasta. We all like spicy food, but I didn't know she could handle it. To which she took a bite and said, It's good. I see why they keep bringing you around. The compliment felt backhanded, and I felt more uneasy with her. We set up the dining table, and it was time for dinner. My boyfriend's family usually says grace before the meal, and invited the girlfriend to lead today as she was a guest. The girlfriend accepted the food and happily thanked God for the food and all the members, and intentionally leaving me out of the grace. I didn't mind too much, but my boyfriend and his mom looked at me with the you saw that look in their eyes. As the dinner moved along, my boyfriend's dad grilled her with questions about her life and this and that, something he did to me as well. She seemed like a decent girl from a decent background. Nah, she ain't decent. Not the way that she's acting. No, she ain't. She ain't no decent girl. After he was done, he started asking me about the things I was working on and my plans for graduate school. Before I could answer, she interrupted me and started talking about her work and how much she hated it. I could tell my boyfriend's dad didn't really want to listen. He gave quick, dry responses, and then turned back to me and just asked me how my family was doing. This trend went on the whole night, where every time I was acknowledged, she would interrupt me. Near the end of dinner, she jokingly said, "Be careful, David, brother's name. I might leave you for Blake, my boyfriend's name." I'm at a point where I don't get jealous or annoyed at this type of stuff. So I went along and said, "Yeah, Blake, remember to invite me to the wedding when it happens." This seemed to be the breaking point for the girlfriend, as she started crying out and saying, "She's been trying to embarrass me the whole night." She then went on a ramble about how I'm hogging my boyfriend's family and making her look bad in front of them. Right after dinner, she drags my boyfriend's brother out of the house with her, and they left for the night. We invited them to stay over for the weekend. My brother's family apologized to me for having to witness that, and we all chilled down to some drinks and kept the celebration going on without him. The next day, my boyfriend's mother gets a call from the brother, who seemed extremely pissed off. She put the phone on speaker so we all heard him talk. He said his girlfriend is really upset with me and the family, how she's now having doubts about him and the relationship. She says that as long as I'm involved with the family, she doesn't think the relationship with him will work out. The brother then began to ask that I break up with my boyfriend so his girlfriend would stop crying and finally have some peace with their relationship. Ugh. My boyfriend denied the request, so did his parents, to which the brother then said, "Either she's out of the family or I am. I don't want to end this relationship over someone who's not related to us in the first place." Which is exactly what he's doing with his brother. Since then, no one has been able to get a hold of him and is stressing his parents out and my boyfriend out a lot. I feel guilty, but also confused on what to do. I don't want to break apart this family, but I love my boyfriend and his parents too. I don't know who or what to do or how to process this. And then there is an update. Update. Thank you for the response. I feel reassured knowing I'm not selfish to stay with the family, and I plan on keeping things how it is and not letting my boyfriend's brother or girlfriend take control of the situation. An update on the situation that sort of gives me clarity on why everything happened. This morning, my boyfriend's mother got a hold of his brother, and we went all over the place and sat down together. No girlfriend this time. The brother seemed to calm down a lot and apologize for the commotion the other night. However, he's still backing up on my boyfriend and us breaking up for the betterment of his relationship. There was a lot of back and forth between my boyfriend and his brother, a lot of which I chose to simply stay out of. His brother got angry again, and right before he left, he said, "You can shove that ring up your and done. Don't think about inviting me to the wedding." He left after that, and the room got tense, so my boyfriend opened up about something. Basically, he planned to propose to me, but right now he bought a ring a few months ago and told his family, including his brother, about it. He said the tension between his brother and him started the moment he told him he planned to propose to me. I didn't know if I should be happy my boyfriend wants to marry or upset that this was sort of over a ring. Now I'm still confused on the girlfriend's behavior, but I think I can safely say that beyond the girlfriend, a big reason the brother was upset was over the fact that me and my boyfriend are getting married. That's the update for me. Also, a lot of people asking about my boyfriend's older brother's dating history, and I found out this was the first time he dated someone since he was 16. He's 24 now. Anyway, that's all. My boyfriend was bummed out that he had to spill the beans on his plan, but we talked it out and he's going to officially propose with the ring in his planned time. I'm going to stay with him. I'm going to keep my distance from that family, though, for the time being, just in case any more mishaps come to fruition. So pretty much this brother is jealous that he's jealous that his brother has had a long lasting relationship. He has not, and now pretty much he pretty much wants to punish his brother for having a relationship and wanting to get married. In what world would a 4-year relationship be worth sacrificing for a brand new relationship? If you don't break up with your girlfriend, mine will break up with mine. Why won't you agree to be miserable so I won't be miserable? Don't I deserve to be happier than you? I'm laughing now at how the older brother says that the younger brother's girlfriend isn't related, so she needs to go. Tell me the older brother isn't dating a relative. Okay, and our last story here. Oh yeah, it's 20 minutes. No matter. There's a lot of videos that last this long with these amount of stories, and we are getting into it. Parents remember their least favorite kid after 18 years when Golden Child didn't achieve anything. My mother admitted to me something that really bothered me. When I was in high school, I applied to a bunch of colleges. This was back in 2007 when colleges sent acceptance letters through the mail. My relationship with my family has always been problematic as they both preferred my older brother, mainly because he wanted to be a doctor while I wanted to write and direct movies. My older brother never had the grades or attitude to be anything, let alone a doctor. He always threw tantrums when things didn't go his way, and he built a reputation in school for being a crybaby mama's boy. I never got accepted anywhere and ended up getting thrown out by my dad, who called me an idiot. I spent a year sleeping on a friend's couch before I got a stable job in line painting. I had to break up with my high school sweetheart as well, as the stress got to me and she got into college and we grew apart. Now it's been 18 years since all of that, and I own a line painting company and an asphalt repair company. It wasn't easy, and I did get hurt a bunch of times on the job, so now I have shoulder issues and lower back issues. My mother reached out to me recently and we met up to talk. My dad was there. I haven't seen them in years. She revealed that my brother still lives at home, flunked out of college, and refuses to get a job. He spends all day sleeping. He also got in trouble in the past for assaulting his barber. My brother is bald, by the way. She then tells me that I actually had gotten accepted into a bunch of different colleges and shows me a stack of mail back from 2007. It turns out that both she and my brother were intercepting the acceptance letters from the mailbox because she didn't want me to succeed at something before my brother did. They both said they were sorry for everything and wants to start over with me. I haven't forgotten the terrible way they made me feel in the past, and I'm not entirely sure what to do. They need a they need a kidney, they need to be taken care of, they need something from you. Don't you dare do it. Leave them to their favorite child is all I have to say. Yeah, this is bonkers. First comment is, "Oh my god, they deliberately sabotaged your future to further scapegoat you. You succeeded after years of struggle and they want to start over after years of not even speaking to you? Let me guess, they're running out of money because they spent it all on your brother." One of them had a bad medical diagnosis and they are terrified to be in the care of your brother. They are getting frail and they are becoming scared of your brother. Screw that. They want something from you, and that's the reason why they contacted you and apologized. Glinda the Witch says, "I think what you should do is thank your mother for being honest with you and then tell her that you have never been so disappointed in anyone in your entire life. Tell her that it appears that karma has stepped in to ensure both her and your brother suffer for their egregious actions, and then tell her you never again want to speak to him or her again. Then walk away and block them on all forms of social media and on the phone if you have that. Hopefully, if you are able to keep the calm when you thank her and kick her out of your life, it will install in her a deep cutting sense of shame and embarrassment that she will live for the rest of her life. I would not give her the satisfaction of arguing with her. If you are struggling with this knowledge, I recommend that you seek counseling." And our last comment is, "They're not sorry. They effed you over your chance to start college earlier in your life. You should post this on r/raised by narcissist. Your mother sounds like a god awful human being. Would absolutely not forgive them for betraying you so badly, a betrayal that affects you for the rest of your life. This is not something to forgive. They knew what they were doing. And for your own mental health, don't rekindle a relationship with them. Who knows what else in your life they will try to violate? These people cannot be trusted regardless of admitting to effing you over or not." Yeah, it would be a cold day in the bad place before I would ever forgive them. Um, they sabotaged me so that their golden child could have a future, and they raised an entitled brat, and now they are reaping what they've sown. They have. I would tell them, you know what? You picked your horse. Write it. And that has been this episode of Reading Reddit. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate that you are here and that you've made it to the end. So please like, rate, comment, subscribe. Please do. I would like to see a little bit more engagement and some more views. But please share it with anybody that you think would enjoy this kind of content. Talk to you soon.